we need to stop fucking talking about Attack on Titan. We're giving it, we're hate watching it, we're Velmaing it right now, and I am banning myself from talking about Attack on Titan further. No game, no life. I'm serious about that. No game, no
Uh,
life.
I I think it's either an orange or the what is that? What is the one below orange? What are we calling that one?
Average
Orange
shows.
yellow? No, no,
Uh
the color.
oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess orange and pumpkin.
Orange yellow? No?
This is pumpkin.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's definitely in one of those two. Like I don't know that I would watch it again. I think that it's a very good show, but I don't think it does anything that breaks like it is definitely better than a lot of shows. I will definitely say that. But
Mm,
I think it doesn't do enough to create a gap between itself and its competition. Like I would say it's a solid B plus. Like I don't think it does enough to separate itself, but they also didn't get to do a second season. They had to turn it into that movie, right?
right.
Whereas
Which
like
we both
that
haven't
first,
seen.
yeah, we both haven't seen it, but the first season's very good. It's just
Yeah,
you can tell that it's the beginning of an arc, and you never get to see how high they go, and it's frustrating. And but I think that's why it would belong there because I probably wouldn't watch it again because there's not enough development and it's not very long.
yeah. I would agree with you. I think that's right. But my question is, would you watch it? Would you prefer to watch it over the Fates, or do you think it's better than the Fates?
I I think that there's a lot of rewatchability based on the fights in that show, whereas I don't think there's any rewatchability for No Game No Life after you watch it the first time.
Gotcha. So that's good where it is. Okay, this one's gonna be tough because of its competition. I feel like it would have had a better chance in the other one with like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. Because My Hero Academia has really strong parts, but it also has really weak parts.
I think the weakness is that we're not getting time skips with the characters, and so like we're seeing character development at the snail's pace that it was in like Naruto and stuff,
Yeah,
and it's frustrating because the thing that's good about that show is that it resolved fights quickly, which is not what
yeah,
Naruto did, and I would say that it's probably in that pumpkin tier for me. Like
yeah. I agree.
I wouldn't rewatch it, but it in the same way that I talk about the Fate movies, there's a lot of really cool fights, a lot of like really good music in that show,
I think I would
and
put it actually closer
I
to
would
probably at the
yeah,
top of this tier.
but yeah, like I was saying, I think it's strange that this is a shonen where like the movies are good, relative to like the competition where a lot of the time the movies are not good. But
Right.
I know we shit on One Piece in our last video, but I hear that the One Piece movies are actually good. Um, but I also don't want to watch 1,000 episodes of something to catch up. So
Yeah, it's too much investment.
like you need to create some sort of a bridge version if you really want me to get it.
I agree. Yeah, I would never. If they did a One Piece Kai, they might actually get me. If they were like, we can condense the 1,000 episodes of One Piece into, I would even take 250. If they did 250
Yeah,
really good episodes of One Piece, I would watch it.
yeah, two to 250. I'd be there. And if you modernized how it looked,
Yeah,
because
you'd have to do that.
I can't go back and watch a Letterbox show. It's the same reason I can't
Hmm.
go watch Naruto.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I feel like we're in the booby tier again. I don't think
So
it's background. I don't know. What would
so
this one
here's
be?
so I understand that this is a fan service anime, right? Like I am 100% aware. The thing is that there is one redeeming thing about that whole show. The sound
Uh,
design and music is much better than the show deserves.
it's
And
true. You're not wrong. It's like a really high class softcore porno.
like it caught me so off guard in that first episode because I was like, oh, it's just a zombie anime. There's gonna be boobs, and then it's like you hear like all the zombie music and like how they're actually layering like the whole kind of stuff into it, and it's just like it sort of catches you off guard. And I know we talk about a lot of times where it's like these anime that we want to put in the top tier need to be like everything, right? Like you need to check all of the boxes, right?
Yeah.
And this anime really checks like one because the story's not particularly strong. Characters are okay. I understand that they're hyperbolic and it's a fan service anime,
Hmm.
but they have some character types. I think that I'm fine there. It's just I want to be the devil's advocate and sort of talk about there are redeeming things about these shows,
Yeah. I'll give
and
you that.
it's not Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's not I feel like it could go in the average show. I would watch it before I would watch either of those shows too, I think, just because it's more stylistic than those shows, and it's like you said, it's not what you come to expect from a zombie or an Iki anime.
Yeah,
Is it
I think it's
Iki or is
fine.
it Ecchi? I think it's Ecchi.
I don't know. I don't use that word as often as you do.
I don't either, but sometimes I watch the girls on the subways say it.
What? On the
Oh,
on the subway videos of that guy making the sandwiches?
Jared, he's like Ecchi. Ew, that's gross. I don't want to think about that. All right, Kaiji. I think this
Uh,
one's one of the better ones. I don't know if I'd watch it again,
yeah. See, I don't think I'd watch it again. I think it's in the
but
pumpkin tier.
I think it's better than the Fate ones though. I'd watch it over Fate because I think it's more fun than those ones.
I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, I think the thing is like an anime like that where you're really thinking about it, where it's like part of the puzzle is part of the experience. You can't
Hmm.
watch those again.
But you can show them to other people.
Yeah, but
I feel like
that's the thing. Like, I feel like the appreciate but wouldn't watch again is like the recommendation tier, right? Like
yeah, for
where
sure.
you want somebody who's gonna only watch it once, right? I feel like all of these are good.
Hmm.
Whereas like I
Uh,
feel like when you go further up, it's a different kind of recommendation.
yeah, that's when you get into the tier where you're like shaming people or like I need to show you this. Like it's I need to make a point to show you this.
Are you prefacing that because of the next show on
Yeah,
our list?
shame, 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 shame.
I've never watched it. I don't care what anybody thinks. I've never watched it. It's too old. I cannot watch it. That is
Tell him
my
what
main thing.
tell him what you think about the fan base and its conception of
Oh,
itself.
that the fan base is like 100% smelling their own farts and think that they're they're so committed to being fucking edge lords about this and being emo that it's like they've committed way too hard. They can't separate reality from the show. Like this is some sort of god tier show. You're like, oh, we get it. It has some themes, but the level that you guys are committing to it is insane. Like, it's not that good. There's no way it's possible that it is that good. If that show was as good as you guys say it would, I would have watched it. I would have
Oh my
stomached it
god.
and watched the whole show and been like, you know what, you guys are right. But you know what? Every time I try to watch the show, I'm like, these characters are cringe. And you know what? I was that kid in high school, and I still didn't want to watch the show. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, I was going to say I can watch the movies, but I feel like I've shit on it so much that like even if I did like it, I could never admit it. So this is where we go from there. You can watch it again. I've not watched it once. And there are shows on this list where one of us has not watched it, just like the big ones. So be
um
prepared for that because we're gonna be like, I don't fucking know.
so
But
okay,
this is this is one where I have an opinion.
yeah, here's my defense of Evangelion sorry. Here's my defense of Evangelion 2 Pyro. And it's yes, it has some good the themes are like existential life, dealing with responsibilities, and then it goes deeper into like what is the makeup of life and like and then it has a lot of themes of depression and broken families and um kind of like the bottom of humanity, like being perverted and sick and doing things for being a base animal, right? And the first one, I feel like it's heralded because it tackled all of that, and then it packaged it into this really kind of like surreal robot anime. And I feel like you have an aversion to robot animes when they take any sort of um, path that's not like technical or like like
Oh, you
uh
mean where it's ridiculous, where it's Deus
yeah,
Ex Machina?
you don't like any sort of surrealism in your robots. The robots have to be built by science. They cannot be built by uh power or like energy. They or like spirit, you know.
Yeah, I don't like Gurren Lagann. I don't know what to tell you. And I finished it. I went back and I finished it. I
Get
can
out of
tell
here.
you, I don't hate it, but I feel like so here's
Why are
the
we
thing.
talking about Gurren? We're talking about
Mhm.
Evangelion right now. We'll get to my defense, all right? Well, you're on the defense right now. Don't try to turn this.
No, but okay. This is
No,
what I'm
I
saying.
know.
I feel like these anime where the assumption is that the unbreakable human spirit can overcome anything. That's not
Hmm.
how real life works, and I can't buy into
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
like my ability to dismiss that is too difficult, and so I
Mhm.
can't take those shows seriously.
I feel like Evangelion is it's like that, but it's like the robots are the metaphor for the spirit in the sense that you have it's Shinji getting the robot. You have to take care of your responsibilities. The only difference is Shinji's responsibilities are like rescue all of Earth from humanity and don't kill the person who's a reincarnation of your mom. You know? And so it's like in the 10 episode series with the old thing, it's easy to appreciate for what it did. There was some cool parts. It has some of the most iconic anime scenes in it. But I agree with you in saying it is very smelling of its own farts. It is very long winded. It is confusing. It is full of surrealism. And like, you have to like, it's taken years of people being like, I think this is what it means to like actually say this is what it means. And then they've said like, in interviews, I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, no, everyone's smelling their own farts. It was just about like getting this kid to get his due his responsibilities, you know.
Okay,
But yeah,
th-
I
th-
think it. I think the movies are stronger than the series.
okay. This is what I will leave you with. I 100% understand that this is my opinion. You are free to like the show, and I'm just telling you that I do not like it. Like,
Hmm.
and that's fine. Like, you can try your best to change my mind, but like the entire time we were talking about it, I was making the Borderlands 2 like finger guns on my fucking head, like listening to.
Oh, oh,
Where it was just like, I hate this. Like,
like
and you know what? Hey, you know what? We ever get like subscribers or anything like that, you guys can make that the subscriber goal. I will watch the show, but it's gonna be some insane number. Like,
to get all of it. But
mhm.
if we do that, I want him to watch the whole thing. He has to watch all 10 episodes, the end of Evangelion, and then the three movies.
Like we'll record the whole thing. We'll do that thing where we like put the timestamp on there, and I'll watch
We
the
can do a
whole
Twitch
thing, and
stream.
you give my commentary to the whole fucking
We'll do a Twitch
thing.
stream.
I'm pretty sure they're in Prime, so I think you can.
All
Like you
right.
can have a
Well,
watch party on Twitch. But yeah, I digress. It's not for me, and like Chris said, it's not or Poster like Poster Ghost said, it is not a genre that I very much. So that's part of the resistance you're dealing with too.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there's definitely going to be some polarizing opinions in this one. As you can tell, we've hate talked in this one in comparison to our first anime tier list. Like the first anime tier list was like, yes, this is good. I think it should belong here. This one we're like, this is garbage, trash. This is why I don't like this. Like we are very much more opinionated with this list, and I think it's okay for us to have those opinions.
Well, this list had more to do with us finding anime that we both watched. So
Hmm.
like whether it's good or bad, we've watched at least, a good portion of these anime. Or like at least a season, right? Like we're talking like, several episodes to be able to make the claim.
Hmm. Okay, read or die.
I I think that it's better than um Food Wars, but I don't think it's even close to fucking No Game of Life. I think that it's a good show.
Hmm.
I don't think it's bad. I think it was one of Juliana's favorite animes
I
after
think it was.
Evangelion.
I think it was. I think it was too. But I
But
remember it. I remember it was good because it was different. It like, and the power of just like controlling paper. Like you think of it as being lame, but they got really creative with it, and I felt like the characters were good too. I feel like it really stood apart in the sense of like the animes that were around it and at the time.
don't you know that that show is a metaphor, Chris, for how knowledge gives you power to defend yourself against the world? Come on.
Knowledge is power. You're not wrong there. I learned that from a different anime, from a very American anime.
So I mean I'm fine with it there. I realistically wonder how many background shows we're gonna find, like as we're moving down this list,
Yeah,
because
it's
like
true.
oh I mean I guess I see a couple.
All right,
All right.
here we go. Spy X Family. This for me is either average or background show.
I
In all
think that it's
honesty,
average. I think that it had a lot of promise in the beginning,
mhm.
and then it sort of resigned itself to being a slice of life single episode, not real anime development, and
Yeah,
not much at risk, right?
but it's like they keep talking about the spy aspect of it, like where it's like the two warring countries and Lloyd being the top spy, and then it does some really cool sequences where he uses his spy abilities to Deus Ex the show essentially. But like I think if they had accentuated more of that and less of the cute Anya and the murderous housewife restraining herself, I feel like it would have been a better show.
Yeah, I think that in the beginning it sort of established itself as Lloyd being the main character, and then around like episode 3 or 4, it realized that Owen is the main character, and it completely changes the direction of the show.
Yeah, totally. I would watch it before I'd watch these shows though, I think.
I mean, yeah, that's fine because I finished High School of the Dead. I
Mm.
I mean I haven't finished Food Wars. I only watched like a few episodes, but I don't know, I'm fine with wherever you want to put an average. Like I think
That's
that there's a very straight line between that one and the one above it.
yeah. I think
Like
that's good.
between average and appreciable when watching it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I haven't watched Ozymandias, but I know all the memes.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that's like, were you in anime club in high school? Was there still clubs in high school when you are you old? And it's like I think it's funny and it's good. But it's a background show. It's like in the Shinchan or Hamtaro category. It's cute. It's fun to look at, but it's nothing of substance.
Yeah, and I feel like it's one of those shows where like those meme moments show up, and then you're like, oh yeah, I remember this part, right? And that's when everybody looks, right? Just
Hmm.
like you're just listening to it in the background.
Yeah, I agree. Gangsta is the greatest tragedy of anime. And if it was, it's like either I would put it like here because
Or
the
at the bottom
music,
of the next one.
yeah, or like here. If it was finished, like it would probably be definitely like way up here. But just
I
the
think
fact that it's not finished makes it hard to watch again.
I think it suffers the same way No Game No Life does. Like
Yeah.
the fact that it didn't really ever get to see its peak, like it had its legs chopped out from under it before it could even get going,
Yep.
is so depressing
Because
because like
it's had such cool characters. The deaf guy was such a cool character. Like,
well and the way they like manipulated the way the character like expressed himself, and like you had to,
mhm.
it was like way more inclusive. Like I'm not saying they did the best job with it, but it was it was nice to see that kind of representation. Like I'm
Yeah.
not going to go into anime is all ableist, right? But like I think it was interesting to have like a protag with like a disability.
Yeah, not like just saying this show is good because of its representation, but the representation that was in it was very true to form, and it made it's like Daredevil or something like that. But it wasn't like the trope where it's like, oh, he has heightened senses because he's deaf. It was like he worked for it. Like I think he did have a little bit of that trope, but like it felt more unique, or it just felt like the anime version of that.
It felt more like that he was a regular guy that had all of these benefits, and not that him being deaf fostered the abilities the way it is in Daredevil.
Right.
So like he was like a badass fighter and all this stuff, and then he just happened to be deaf too. But he had learned ways to deal with it being deaf, not that it was a superpower for him the way it is for Daredevil. So I think that's good. Oh man.
The greatest show. This is an exemplary piece of shit. Got
Like
him. I got him.
like I know that we shit on Attack on Titan, but I watched one episode of Black Clover. One.
I think I made it to one or two as well. I did not make it very far into Black Clover.
And you know what the thing is? There are things in this show that are also like an Attack on Titan where I will watch some of the fights because the fights are cool, but the story is shit. And like I've seen a bunch of the fights in well, not a bunch, but like there's a few that are really cool, but that show is very inconsistent with its like art direction in terms of like how well these fights are animated. And I don't know if they're like older because that this show's like what got to be like 150 episodes, so it's been
Yep.
what at least 7 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so derivative of all the shonen stereotypes, and
That's what
it,
I was gonna say. Like, okay, so Attack on Titan, it's like bad writing, but at least he's writing. Black Clover is literally like copy pasting. It's like a fanfic.
it's I mean it's JJK on here. Yeah,
It
there
should
it is.
be.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's coming up. And it's the same problem I have with JJK, except the characters are better. Like,
Yeah,
and not much better. Like, I'm not gonna put JJK at the top, but like, it's much better than Black Clover. I,
I
I,
don't think you can compare them. I think Black Clover is it's like a children's show in comparison to Jujutsu Kaisen.
I, I think that it's part of it is that it's baby's first shonen, right? Like,
Yeah.
for people who didn't watch Naruto, they couldn't watch Boruto because there's so much attached to it. But Black Clover was its own thing, and they're like, "Oh, I
Mm.
get it. They're magicians, and his power is that he can cancel magic. Why would anybody want that?" And then you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you mean the most OP power in the fucking show? Like a child could figure it out?"
Yeah, I
Uh,
hate it. I don't like it at all.
and
It's bad.
I hate
I
the main
think it's
character.
I still think Elfen Lied is like worse than Black Clover. Like if you watch Black Clover, I can there's an excuse. I can find an excuse, but there's still no excuse for Elfen Lied.
I feel like the three with like male main, or well, not Final Fantasy Unlimited, but Attack on Titan, Doctor Stone, and Black Clover. One of the biggest things is that the pro tags suck.
Yeah, they do. Oh my God, you're right. The shitty.
So
I'm like looking at the rest of the list, and it's like, yeah, every one of these has a charismatic protagonist, but those ones definitely do not. They are the shittiest pro tags. But even the Final Fantasy Unlimited one, like the pro tag is like, eh. And it's
I
the
mean,
same
but
thing
he,
with
but
the
he's but he's dumb. He's just dumb,
yeah.
and he's a little kid versus the other ones where like we have to elevate them, but by elevating them, you just make them look stupid.
Yeah, it's true. All right,
Uh,
what about ReZero? Where would you put ReZero? For me,
I
it's like a background show. It's like I would rather watch Azumanga Daioh than ReZero.
so I we both finished the first season, but dropped it in the second season.
Hmm.
I think that this one did a lot of interesting things. Obviously, it's a torture porny. Like that episode where they were torturing that girl over and over again, and we're watching her die. That's when I stopped the first time, and I didn't continue watching it for over a year because I couldn't handle watching that over and over again. And I understand that we're supposed to live vicariously through Subaru's character, and it's supposed to be we're torturing him, but it's also torturing us. But it's like,
Hmm.
why would I want that out of a show?
Yeah, why am I casually watching this? It's kind of like got the Elfen Lied feeling to it, where it's like this is gross, like when I'm watching this, but it has more substance than Elfen Lied.
And
It's it it's
no, go ahead.
disguising the foot fetish. It's not Quentin Tarantino in your face. It's uh Bob Odenkirk getting caught following a foot fetish on Instagram. It's a little more subtle.
Well, and the thing is, it sort of suffers from some of the same things Black Clover does too, where the characters are very tropey, and it makes a lot of the characters not very interesting. Like,
Hmm.
I don't, what is it? The magician girl, not the elf chick, but the one in the library. I had thought that
Yep.
she was like one of the most interesting characters. Her and the butler guy who took down the
Hmm.
whale.
Yep.
Like, I find them to be very interesting, but like
Well, the
Subaru's
isekai. It's funny. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out, but the isekai part of it is the good part,
like,
like the world he exists into. You know.
oh yeah, the world is good, but he's not.
Right.
He's not good. Amelia's not good. Like, I they're not doing anything with that show other than we're trying to put emphasis on the, oh, you die and you can come back and you can change your decisions, right? Like, we're fucking safe to come in. But
Hmm.
it's like, okay, and it's like, then that first season it was just all about seeing how far we could push somebody to their breaking point.
Yeah.
And I just, it didn't make me want to save Subaru. It made me want to stop the writer, because it's like, what are you getting at this? Like, why are
Yeah.
you torturing this character? Is it because you have some sort of agenda that you're wanting to torture somebody? Like,
I, I kind of agree with you there. I also think it trapped itself. The problem with it is it's like, okay, you have a protagonist that can do a save scum thing, so it makes life and death in the world very trivial to anyone who can overcome the psychological aspect of dying and coming back to life or fucking up a bunch of times. So the writer had to be like, okay, well, how can I make him fuck up even harder? How can I make this worse for him so he maybe doesn't abuse the power, right? But what ended up happening is he found something awoken in him.
I feel like with that power, one season that is concise and self-contained would have been better,
Hmm.
because you get to the point where you're trying to escalate, like how awful, how psychologically traumatizing it is for this, and it just gets to the point where, like we've said in some of the other shows, when you just sort of get desensitized to it and it feels like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.